Hey, what's happening, Raz here on Nalyo Gaming. Today we got a quick PlayStation conversations for you guys. Uh, Basically, we woke up and we got the news dropped on us that Microsoft went ahead and acquired Zenimax Media and its game publisher Bethesda Softworks. Uh, I woke up and turned on the computer and saw this right away. Rusty, you were up and at work, and this dropped on you, and you were stuck at work, and I'm sure that you wanted to just talk about this, and I can only
hmm
imagine your brain was just working overtime nonstop while you were at work trying to process all this. And I could tell just from our Discord back and forth that you feel pretty strongly about this as well as I do, and we both have our different opinions. So I figured I'm going to go ahead and just give a quick rundown of the press release, and after that we can just kind of talk it out, and you can tell me what you think. And um, so yeah, basically it says Microsoft to acquire ZeniMax Media and its game publisher Bethesda Softworks' iconic game portfolio. Publishing expertise and world-class talent accelerates growth in Microsoft's gaming business. More than 3 billion people on the planet play games for fun, escape, and human connection unlike any other medium. Games empower people to engage in creativity, strategic thinking, and teamwork. Okay, so I think I could skip the pleasantries at the beginning of the article, or I would say the press release. Let's see. Let's get to the nitty gritty. With unique investments in content, community, and the cloud, Microsoft game strategy differs from others by empowering people to play the games they want with the people they want, anywhere they want. Games are the primary growth engine in gaming, and games are fueling new cloud gaming services like Xbox Game Pass, which has reached a new milestone of over 15 million subscribers. With the addition of Bethesda, Microsoft will grow from 15 to 23 creative studio teams and will be adding Bethesda's iconic franchises to Xbox Game Pass. This includes Microsoft's intent to bring Bethesda's future games into Xbox Game Pass the same day they launch on Xbox or PC, like Starfield, the highly anticipated new space epic currently in development by Bethesda Game Studios. Gaming is the most expansive category in the entertainment industry as people everywhere turn to gaming connect, socialize, play with friends, blah blah blah. Where was the next thing I wanted to touch on? This is an awesome time to be an Xbox fan. In the last 10 days alone, we've released details on our new consoles, which go on pre-order tomorrow, launched cloud gaming in Xbox Pass Ultimate, and now we're making another investment in the most critical part of our strategy, the games, said Phil Spencer, Executive Vice President Gaming at Microsoft. Generations of gamers have been captivated by the renowned franchises in the Bethesda portfolio and will continue to do so for years to come as part of Xbox. The planned acquisition includes publishing offices and development studios spanning the globe with over 2,300 employees, including Bethesda Softworks, Bethesda Game Studios, ID Software, ZeniMax Online Studios, Arcane Machine Games, Tango Gameworks, AlphaDog, and Roundhouse Studios. Bethesda's critically acclaimed and best-selling franchises include The Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Doom, Quake, Wolfenstein, and Dishonored, among others. Bethesda's parent company, ZeniMax Media, was founded in '99. Chairman, CEO, blah blah blah. This is a thrilling day, blah blah. The transaction is subject to customary closing conditions and completion of regulatory review. Microsoft expects the acquisition to close in the second half of fiscal year 2021 and have minimal impact to non-GAAP operating income in the fiscal years. So that basically runs down the press nitty gritty. I will link below the press release and any other articles with the details. But Rusty, hit me with it. What are your thoughts? Because I know you have some strong feelings on this. We were just talking about this the other day. We
Yes, we were.
spoke we spoke about the PlayStation event, and we were talking all about exclusives and our feelings on exclusives. And I think part of it made it into the final cut of our last PlayStation's conversations, but not the whole conversation. But you're pretty passionate about this, and you have some pretty strong feelings about this. And go ahead and tell me what your feelings are on this, and take it away.
Okay, first thing I have to get out of the way. I got to set the stage here, okay? Like uh, before this gets out and people say I'm like a Sony shill or a fanboy and shit like that. I prefer the PlayStation. That is a fact. Um, but I want the Xbox to succeed. I want it to be successful. I want Microsoft to succeed in this endeavor in gaming
Same.
because if they're successful, Sony pushes harder. If Sony's successful, Microsoft pushes harder.
Agreed.
That gives us the best that they could possibly be on both fronts. You know what I mean? Like this competition breeds innovation and all that stuff. Um, but I hate this business practice more than anything in this industry. I can't stand this, man. When you just throw money at something to possibly take something from your competitor. Sony does it too with their timed exclusivity. They do with a lot of stuff. They just throw money at a publisher or developer and say, hey, give us this game for a certain amount of time so we can keep it from the other party. I hate that so much. It drives me nuts. I wish they would just compete on the game front. Just make good quality games that are going to be exclusive from your developers that you have, or if you're Microsoft and you're going to acquire a studio, make it be a studio that you fostered and dealt with and like kind of enticed over to your platform. Be like, listen, we're going to give you creative freedom and a bunch of money. Please make something really great to bring people to our platform. Microsoft doesn't do that. They just buy out these companies and just take them, you
Yeah, it's
know?
kind of like a
Like,
takeover rather than
yeah.
a inclusive, you know, join us.
Yeah. Now I know like I'm not so dull that I I don't understand that business is business, you know what I mean? But this could potentially be um this could really upset the industry big
Yeah.
time. Like if like you have these two companies fighting over all these company like all these different publishers and developers, if it's just Sony and Microsoft at some point, then it doesn't help other people get into the gaming industry. You know what I mean? If it's just Microsoft that owns this huge chunk of developers and just Sony that owns this huge chunk of developers, it makes the industry stagnant. It's just those two competing with each other. I don't like when they buy these things up. Now people always say it's like, well, Sony buys developers too. Yes, they do. They buy developers that they have spent a lot of time with, a lot of time kind of catering towards and just like and feeling them out and letting them have free reign over their games. And then these developers spend a lot of time making games for Sony platforms, and then Sony purchases them.
So
They don't just buy entire publisher groups
that's kind of
with
where I'm at with it. Yeah,
with a
I
with a
feel
huge
very
staple.
yes.
It's like I feel like Microsoft is finally at the point where they're admitting that they can't foster decent enough developers to entice people into their ecosystem. So they're just buying it. You know what I mean? They're just buying it all in and saying, we don't want to put the time and effort into this, so we're just going to purchase this. And like they're just waving their money around for the sake of whatever. Like I like what they're doing. Phil Spencer is like the greatest thing to happen to Xbox since its inception. He has done a phenomenal job. Phil Spencer is such a relatable gamer type guy. You know what I mean? Every time he talks and every time he discusses these things, it's like you feel like you could sit down on the couch with the dude and play a game. You know what I mean? Like he just seems that chill. Like he understands the industry. But these kind of moves, I think, are just bad. Like I don't like this stuff at all, man. And like I said, when Sony does it too, with stupid exclusivity for like a time release and stuff like that, that shit drives me nuts,
So
man.
okay, so
Stop that
let's
dumb
take that
business shit.
let's take that apart because the other day we talked about it, but me and you have talked about it, but just for anybody listening, uh, what is your overall feelings on like exclusives? Because where I fall, real quick is I'm okay with an exclusive when it's like you said, it's a company that has been with Sony, working with Sony. They might not be under Sony yet, but they've been with them for years. It's kind of like a team effort. They work
Hmm.
together. They might do a timed exclusive. Whatever, 3 days, a week, a month. I cannot stand this year long. We had Tomb Raider. I think it was
Seriously.
a year long exclusive. I just that drives me nuts. Now with the Zenimax deal and Bethesda, which is what $7.5 billion in cash. It was like
Hmm.
$8 million buyout or whatever. Um, what I see with that is we got this game Starfield. Okay, Starfield's never been on PlayStation, Nintendo, nowhere else. If they want to make that an exclusive, yes, it's going to suck for all gamers on PlayStation and other platforms. If they want to put it on Xbox, well, you know what? We never had that, so I kind of it would suck and I don't agree with it, but I would understand it. Now, something like the next Elder Scrolls in the the Skyrim franchise, now if they were to take that and say nope, it's just going to be on Xbox and it's
Hmm.
now exclusive, I would be furious. I would be
Yeah.
livid because
I'm.
that to me is the ultimate like
Yeah.
just like no, you don't do that.
Yeah.
Plus, if they want a return on their investment, wouldn't you think that they would want to get the game out to as many people? Look at what they did with Minecraft. It's a different IP, but Minecraft was still huge. That
Yeah.
came out on other platforms. So I hope that that's what they do with certain games now. So they actually did confirm on Twitter. Jason Schreier, uh, he, I guess, got a quote or something along those lines, and it says, to answer the question everyone is asking, Phil Spencer tells uh, at Dynabase that Xbox plans to honor the PS5 exclusivity commitment for Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo, both coming to PlayStation 5. Future Bethesda games will be on Xbox PC and other consoles on a case by case basis, in quotes.
Hmm.
So that's why seeing that is when I kind of came up with, well, I can see something like Starfield going exclusive, but I really, really hope that they do keep existing franchises that have been on all platforms, Fallout, Skyrim.
Yeah.
There's so many others because there's so many studios involved in this ZeniMax deal that they can take a few of those studios and whatever, make them first party studios, do exclusives, but these games that are across, and this isn't me just saying it. Yes, of course, I hope I prefer PlayStation. It's not just coming from an angle of me saying that because I want them on PlayStation. It's coming from an angle of it makes perfect sense if they want to return on their investment to do things like that for existing franchises that have been everywhere for so many years. So that's just my take on it. I hate exclusivity deals that are extended. I understand the short term ones, 3 days, a week, a month at the most, but I don't really care for ones like you said that are basically pulling away from other platforms. They're being kind of like poachers in a way. It's kind of problematic in my eyes, and well, I just don't like it. It really had me frustrated reading that, and I'm hoping that they do. I don't want to say do the right thing because it is business at the end of the day, but if it is business, they should also want to make money. So it's like, I don't know. What do they do in the end? What's the smart move? Um,
Yeah.
so
I just hope it remains one of those things where they eke out what they can out of the developer as far as, the money that they need to get back, and just let, Bethesda continue actually, running all these studios as a whole. Which I
yeah,
think I'd seen something on Twitter, maybe that was actually the case. Like they're still gonna publish their titles, but Microsoft is all, they're gonna have the final say and everything. But it's like, if there's a chance that they're doing this just to secure, exclusive uh, developers, just to pad their developer list, this is ridiculous, man.
yeah.
I'm completely over it, and I'm stubborn enough that I won't play that shit
I know
because
you
I
are. My
I
line of
like
thinking is I'll play I'll play an Xbox game on Game Pass on PC with a PlayStation
yeah.
controller, but you're
Well,
like, no, I won't buy it, I won't play it, I won't support that, you know?
yeah, absolutely will. Like I think it was it Colin Moriarty that always said, "Vote with your wallet." I do
Yep.
that every chance I get. Vote with my wallet. I absolutely refuse to support these business practices. We'll see how they handle it up in the. I mean, this is a perfect time for them to announce something like this, especially with
Oh my
pre-orders opening.
gosh, great
Dude,
timing. They
with
killed
pre-orders
that.
opening
Yeah.
tomorrow, oh man, this is a perfect time for them to announce this. So it's like we'll see if they're like if more information is going to trickle out over the next couple of days about them being like, well, yeah, no, we're gonna let them publish on other platforms, and we're just gonna take the money from that, and then when a developer's freed up, we're gonna have them work on an Xbox IP that is exclusive to us. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. That is the way it should work out. Elder
So
Scrolls multi-platform, but I'm curious because the way the wording is on a case by case basis, you know what I mean? They have to really weigh that out. The reason why Minecraft, stayed on other platforms because it was already released on other platforms.
yeah,
Like it was already out. So they didn't want to just pull that rug out from anybody right now at that point because that just people already paid for this thing. So with these other future titles just hanging in the balance, who's to say they don't just say, you know what, screw it, stop developing for it. You know what I mean?
they
Like
could.
only focus on
Yeah.
PC and Xbox.
Yeah, they could. They
And
definitely
that would
could.
be just the most shady move they could possibly pull. And I don't think Phil Spencer will actually do that.
Well, I look back at his tweets from earlier this year, talking about cross play and
Yeah.
over the last 2 years, he's been talking the talk about, cross everything on all inclusive, across all platforms, this and that. And now the ball's in their court. And will they end up just saying screw it, just worry about us, or will they end up continuing these all platform titles coming out on all
Yeah.
platforms? We're gonna have to wait and see. But now something I did want to ask you was, what could PlayStation do? What publisher could PlayStation pick up that could come anywhere close to this? I mean, this is a pretty huge with the amount of studios involved. I don't think
Yeah.
there is any one particular one, but I guess what could be PlayStation's answer to something like this if they were already planning? I don't know necessarily think doing it in spite. I don't think that's their style, or I don't think. But if they had
No.
something planned, if they were working on something, what do you think could be one of these big publishers that could kind of balance this out a little bit?
Jeez, man. I don't know, and I don't even want to think about it because I don't want them to do that.
I
You know
don't
what I mean?
either.
Like,
I don't either.
I don't.
But my my
That
my answer is 2K. 2K would be the only answer.
they're so big though, and Sony doesn't have that, uh, that crazy ass, just walking around money to be like,
The
hey,
yeah,
here's this.
200.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. They're big. They're not
So
as big, but yeah, but that would be my answer to it, which is just fantasy. It's just kind of spitballing, talking.
yeah,
Uh,
now I see people calling for Sony to purchase like Konami and stuff like that. Like, no,
yeah,
don't
no,
do something like
leave it
that.
alone.
Keep doing what you're doing. Like
Yes,
keep bringing up these studios and developing these studios that make these high quality games that
stay on task.
can
Yep,
consistently blow all the competition out of the water. You know what I mean?
yep.
Keep doing that. Bring in a couple more. Just keep releasing these great titles, and people will stick with your platform. This idea that you have to buy up these companies to pad your stuff. It just man, I don't get it, dude. Like I d- that's the one thing about Xbox that always just kind of deterred me from the platform is like, yeah, sure, they've got a lot of money and they can they can buy their way into anything, but it's like why do that? Why not build it from the ground up and just work your ass off to make sure that these developers have a you know, nice situation they're getting into with the free reign to build the games that they want to build, like Sony does with certain developers, and a lot of them. That's the thing. Like if you look at their staple of studios that they have right now, their stable of studios they have now. I mean, like Ben Studio. You
Yeah.
know, then they pretty much were making PlayStation games since their inception. Um, and it just made sense for Sony to buy them. Guerrilla Games, kind of same thing. They had like a stint in like the what was it, like the early 2000s or something like that. They were making uh,
They're all
like
similar.
ga-
They're all
they were
similar
making
scenarios though.
yeah, they were
Like you're
making like
saying.
Game Boy games. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
then they started making PlayStation games when they were acquired by PlayStation. But it's all like the same. Like Insomniac. Insomniac is a perfect one. You look at them, it's like they made so many PlayStation games and then they ventured out to do their own thing. And like, I don't know, was Sunset Overdrive a critical success or failure on the Xbox?
It
I,
was
I, I don't I don't know.
I
I
think
didn't
it
like
was
it.
one of those. I think it was one of those like Rise Son of Rome. It was an Xbox game that they desperately needed. Exclusive type, and yeah, it was like a middle of the road type game.
I feel like they just had their best and greatest successes with PlayStation. So PlayStation's like, hey, listen, you're already kind of part of the family. Why don't you just let us, why don't you just come work for us? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yep.
so that's just one of those things. That Media Molecule, like another one of those. They were pretty much all exclusive to PlayStation to begin with, and it just made sense for them to purchase them. They buy the companies, but only after they've fostered them and catered to them and let them, really dive deep into the ecosystem and figure out what PlayStation's all about. I mean, I could see maybe them getting, if they really, really wanted to, pushing hard for Kojima Productions.
Yeah.
That would be a big get, but Kojima's always been about, like uh, he just always praises Sony for their ability to let him kind of do whatever the hell he wants to do. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that. I mean, the stuff that makes sense. Like this doesn't make sense at all.
To me, this just kind of irked me. I just the way this all went down. I just don't really feel great about it. And
Hmm.
I'm like I said, it's not just because I prefer playing on PlayStation. It's 100% not. I don't I don't like that. I don't like not knowing when. So when do you think the soonest that we could see this even affect the landscape? Next year, 2021.
If it's next year, it'd be late next year, early 2022, maybe. It depends on their release windows for a lot of these things. Like, I
Yeah,
don't think Elder Scrolls and all that
that's
shit
got to
are
be
anywhere near
years away.
close.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
got to.
so I
Another
mean,
thing they
it's
announced alongside this was they're finally overhauling their uh, their engine. That's what
mhm.
the announcement
Yeah.
alongside this was, which is huge for
I'm
them. It's
I'm
overdue.
on I'm still on the fence about that though because it's like uh, how long did they spend messing around with the one engine that they had and it was still buggy and messy.
Yeah,
Now
that's
they're
true.
now they're overhauling it with new tooling and stuff like that. So it's like all new bugs and stuff to learn and figure out,
Yeah,
you know. So like I don't know if that's actually the case or not. If it's like a new built from scratch engine or if it's just a revamped version. They finally figured out the old engine, but it just you know how the memes go and stuff like that with
sure
with their
do.
games. So it's just I really hope that this isn't one of those things because I mean like going back to what you're asking is like how soon could we actually see the effects of this? If it is a year and a half, 2 years off before those decisions are really really made, then whatever comes out in that window is going to be yes, okay, fine, it's on PlayStation 5. But anything else new that's happening, um, like just hypothetical situation, say Sony keeps the Steam engine rolling. They're selling PS5s like crazy, riding off the back of the PlayStation 4, and they're going strong. They're going strong. Microsoft is getting their dicks kicked in. What do you think they're gonna do with
Yeah,
all
I know.
those
That's my
new
thought too.
releases?
That's my thought too.
Hmm.
It's going to depend on how things are in 2 years,
Hmm.
which is scary. That's what I think my biggest fear is. Being a PlayStation fan is that unknown. Business
Yeah.
wise, yeah, I mean, it would totally boost their sales for Xboxes,
Hmm.
but that doesn't seem to be their move. They don't. Yes, they want to sell consoles, but tell me that they're not hyper focused on Game Pass,
Yeah,
and
they are. That's the thing. Their biggest concern right now is Game Pass, and Game Pass is an incredible value. I pay for it. I've been paying for it for a long time. As soon as I can download titles to my PC, I actually love it. Love it. There's an insane amount of value there. So if they keep that going, that same fervent push towards offering the gamer more and more, because they really have taken a stance over gamer friendly, consumer friendly over
yeah,
the past year or so, and like this is a chance for them to show how consumer friendly they really are. Whether it be their consumer or someone else, you know what I mean? They're still going to get a cut of funds from the PlayStation game sale if any of their games do come to PlayStation. So it's like, we'll see how it pans out, man. I, I
yeah,
just, I
I
just don't
see
want them to be complete a-holes about it, and be like,
eight
well,
eight
we're
million
losing in sales.
8 billion. I'm sorry, not million. 8 billion's a lot of money. So
Oh yeah.
you know, putting it on PlayStation, Nintendo, PC, across the board is the smart business move at the end of the
Hmm.
day, and uh, we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, this was a pretty big deal. This is a
Yeah.
pretty amazing announcement for Xbox fans and people that are gonna be pre-ordering their Xboxes tomorrow. Um, so we'll see. We'll have to see what happens. Anything you want to add
You,
to the conversation
you,
before we wrap up
you, you going to be in on those pre-orders?
for Xbox? No,
Yeah.
I won't be buying. I won't be pre-ordering or buying an Xbox. I will continue to get Game Pass so I can play the games on PC. But I won't. Yeah, I won't be getting an Xbox. At least not right away. Maybe next year if there's a reason to. Um, but I don't know. I prefer the PlayStation controller. We'll see what the DualSense feels like, but I don't really care for the feel of the Xbox controller, where the layout of it. So I don't know. That has a lot to do with it. And I just prefer PlayStation. That's just my opinion and how I feel. So
Mhm.
no, I won't be buying one anytime soon. You?
End up getting a Series S
Yep.
for my boy.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Makes sense. I
So
think if you have a kid in the house, um,
yeah,
yeah, I could see that. I could see that. If you don't already have an Xbox One X, I could see getting an Xbox S. Yeah, I
yeah,
could see
he
that.
he he has a 1S right now, so I figured a Series S would be a pretty substantial jump
Yeah,
over the 1S.
yeah.
So
No, I
I
agree
mean,
with that. Especially for $300. I mean, that's that
mhm,
that is a pretty good. That's a good deal. That's a great deal.
mhm,
It's not. But I think the distinction needs to be, people going into stores that are going to be buying their kids. I think of
mhm.
the moms and the
I know.
grandmothers going into these retail stores, GameStop, Best Buy, Target, and they hear their kid wants an Xbox, and it's already been so confusing for so many years. I remember working at GameStop, and just people would come in so confused, and now they're doing it with the S and the Series B, Q.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
so confusing, and they really, really screwed up the messaging and their marketing with that. I don't know what they were thinking, but hey, they definitely hit it out of the park today with this announcement and this move. So, um,
We'll see how it affects pre-orders tomorrow. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that were on the fence that are like, you know what?
yeah,
So we'll see how
no,
it goes. I'm
this is
curious to see if they sell out as fast.
this is a major, major move. They said one last thing. I just read, um, they were saying that Game Pass went from, what was it, 11 million to
To
15 million
15.
in a
Mhm.
month. That's pretty substantial.
Oh, that's a huge deal, and like good on them
Yeah, that's
because
huge. That's great.
I mean they need more people in Game Pass. Like this is one of those all or nothing type deals. You know what I mean? Because it's like Game Pass is a very good deal.
Yep.
I mean, $15 a month gets me access to their entire library on Xbox and PC,
Yep.
and it pays for Xbox Live for my little boy to play. So it's like that's a huge deal, all in one payment, and I can just download stuff, buy whatever. Like I was playing Halo Reach with Cisco the other day.
Yeah.
because that's like the one, I think the one Halo besides 5 I haven't beaten. Dude, I got I got Halo Reach. I'll have to show you the video or the picture of it or whatever. I sent it to Cisco. I did a beta test for Microsoft when I had back in the 360 days,
Yep.
for when they were trying to expand the size of the DVD. They had to issue a new firmware, and they sent me a copy of Halo Reach. It's basically just an off the print type thing. It's got like a real rough green label on it, and
That's pretty
it's just a
cool.
version of it, and it's in a clear green case. I was showing Cisco that the other
That's a
day.
collector's item
Um,
right there.
yeah, I mean it's awesome. I'll never get rid of that thing. That was awesome. That's like one of the coolest beta tests I ended up ever doing, especially at that time in the 360. It was like, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely cool. That's a good memory too, you know?
hmm
Too bad it
So
was
I mean, it's like,
with them. No, I'm
yeah,
just
well,
kidding.
that's the thing. It's not like I have
I'm
a
just
bad
kidding.
history with Xbox or anything like
Yeah,
that.
I
It's like
know. I'm just kidding. Totally
I
kidding.
prefer I prefer PlayStation because like I'm the type of gamer that is like I like those really deep involved first first party experiences that have all this heart and soul poured into them
Yeah,
and
me
all
too.
this lore and everything, you know what I mean, to
Me
to
too.
go through. Like I think they tell the best stories and they have the best experiences. That's just the way it is for me, that's what I prefer.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. That's why where I'm at where that's why I am at where I am at, talking like a robot. All
Yeah.
right, so on that note, I'm sure you have had a long day, and I'm glad we unpacked that and talked about it. Do you feel like you got some therapy in getting it out?
I feel like I did actually. Don't fuck this up, Xbox.
Yeah, I know, right? This is the ball's in their court, and
I believe in you, Phil Spencer.
yeah. All right, so on that note, we're going to wrap it up there. Follow me on Twitter at RiseUp44. Follow Rusty at Rusty Sheriff's Badge. Leave us some comments down below. Let us know if you're picking a Xbox up, which one. Let us know how you feel about all this going on with Zenimax and Bethesda, and just leave all those comments down below, and we can keep the conversation going down there. So yeah, I appreciate you joining me, Rusty, and we'll be talking soon. Thanks for
Thanks
watching.
for having me.